We do websites and marketing for dental practices. So we have 16 years experience. That's 1-6. We actively serve about 800 dental practices. And some of the things people know us for is like transparent pricing, no long-term contracts, and really great customer service.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast, where we talk about the issues that matter most and help us to become better leaders in our dental practice. I'm your host, Kyle Summerford. Let's dive right in. Hey guys, it's Kyle, the founder of Dental Office Managers Community, and today we are on with Kayvan from DocSites.
How are you, Kyle?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. How you been?
Good. Excited to be here. I love this community and really excited to just share more.
Yeah. That's why I brought you on, man. I want you to really to kind of like share with us what share with the members of the group what I've learned about DocSites and how awesome you guys have been. Just to kind of like touch on, for the members to get familiar with who DocSites is and the face behind it. So, one of the things I'd like to ask you is maybe if you could share a little bit background information on DocSites, how it got started, how you guys ended up in dental.
Yeah, so if you don't know about our company, this is it, the DocSites. We do websites and marketing for dental practices. So we have 16 years experience. That's 1-6. We actively serve about 800 dental practices. And some of the things people know us for is like transparent pricing, no long-term contracts, and really great customer service. So how we got started was in 2008. Our very first client was a dentist, actually a startup. And if you remember, not the best economy. So he had a nice office, but empty chairs. That's where we came in. And he's like, listen, like no one knows me in the community or area. Like I need patient flow. So we did what we knew best, which is built him a website, did SEO, got him found on Google, and he started doing really well to the point where he was purchasing more practices. His wife was an orthodontist, power couple, dentist, orthodontist, right? And so he referred us there. And one thing about dentists and people in dental industry, they all know each other. We know that for sure. And so just organically, it started coming word of mouth. And that was 16 years ago. And we created DocSites really as a focus to serve dental practices, to help increase their online visibility, build a website that builds trust with patients, and really support them with their online presence.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for sharing that. One of the questions I have is, for DocSites to work with a dental practice, right? Are you guys like specific to the type of practice, or are you guys open to working with any type of dental practice?
We work with any type of dental practice. So the great thing about us is we're dental industry experts. So if you're a pedo practice, we know pedo is different. If you're an endo practice, we know it's different. If you're general dentistry, but you want to focus on certain cases, we know that. If you want to do restorative or cosmetic cases, we know that in order to do that, we're going to ask you for before and afters, because that's what patients want, right? We know financing might be important, so we're going to ask that to you. We know that maybe you're getting off Delta and you're going more the PPO or fee-for-service route. If that's the case, we want to know that, so we have in-house membership on your website. Maybe you give special offers, right? So we ask all those things because even though we have templates, we really personalize them. We go the extra mile to make sure that when someone comes to your website, they know how you're different from the practice down the street.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's, if you guys are working with different types of practices, then you're very familiar with, you kind of mentioned it right there, like depending on the dynamic, the structure of the dental practice really determines like, I guess, what would be put on their website, right? Or like how their website is structured.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. That's awesome that you guys are able to help out with that. What type of I know you guys are doing marketing for practices, right? So, what type of marketing strategies makes you guys unique? What are you offering?
So great question. We focus on Google, getting you visible on Google because we believe Google is the gateway to new patients, which is what most people do want with their website, with their marketing. Now, it doesn't mean you can't be on Instagram or TikTok or all those things, but think about it. Where do patients go when they're looking for a dentist? They usually ask friends or family. And the second place they go is Google. So some of the things that we do really well is, one, we build a personalized website, and on that website, not only do we showcase what's unique about your practice, but we optimize it for things that a patient would search for. So for example, if you offer, like, let's say emergency dentistry or perio treatment or TMJ, we make service pages on those on your website, and we optimize it for your city. That gives you a higher likelihood of being found. And then on an ongoing basis, we actually update your website. We write blogs. We post to your Google My Business profile, and we update that on a consistent basis so that your online presence is not stagnant, because that's one of the big problems I see with a lot of practices is they're doing their best, the team's doing the best, and they think they're doing well. But when I take a look at their online presence, it's been stagnant.
Mm, yeah.
And I think that's one thing that we do really well is we support your team to make sure that the online presence is updated, the Google profile is updated, blogs are being added. So that increases your visibility, along with good reviews, as we know is really important.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, one of the challenges I had, so years ago in a practice that I worked at, I was given the task, which that's just an easy way to put it, right? Because it's a whole like plethora of like, it's just so much to really keep your online presence like being consistent, right?
Yeah.
So years ago, the doctor that I was working with, he was like, "Oh, we'll have you just take care of all that," and it was so time consuming. It was like, how do I post to Facebook? How do I post to Google My Business page? Like, it's so much work, and it takes so much time that I was like, listen, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I gave up. I was like, I'm not doing this. So you guys are able to take care of that for dental practices, correct?
Exactly. And what people love about us is the transparency that it's being done. Unfortunately, you know this, I know this, some people, some practices out there, you might be listening to it and say, I have not had a good experience with marketing companies, right? They've said one thing, they've delivered another thing. One thing that people really like about DocSites is we're super transparent. So if you go on our website and you look at our marketing packages, you'll see exactly what you pay and what we do every month. So
Mm,
you can see, hey, for this much, we write 2 blog posts, we post your Google My Business, and that level of transparency is something I think a lot of people appreciate because they're not getting it, elsewhere,
yep.
with that. So not only do we do it, but you can see it for yourself that we're actually doing something, because sometimes all this kind of becomes a black hole and you don't know who's doing what. And so that level of transparency that we do what we say we're going to do and we give great customer service when we're here is something that a lot of practices value, because unfortunately they're not getting that reliability from a lot of other
Right.
vendors.
Yeah, yeah, I can attest to that. So I've worked with in the past I've worked with a dental website company who made a promise, and they said, "Oh, well, we're going to be doing this many posts, and we're going to be optimizing this and that." And as me being a dental office manager, right? I'm not really paying attention to it. And
Yeah.
so, but when I do pay attention to it, it's kind of like you said, like it's like a black hole. I'm like, what's being done, what has been done. I feel like I'm in the dark. So with you guys offering transparency, I find so much value in that. Because again, it's like we have a lot as office managers to focus on, and the last thing we want to do is really do the job of a company who's an expert in
Yes.
it, right? We're not experts in this, so this is why we hire companies that are experts. So, yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So
the
in
other,
terms, oh,
go ahead.
go ahead. No,
No,
go
I was
ahead,
gonna
go
say the other thing that people get out of it is like, yes, we're transparent, we have great service, but we also help increase the visibility to get them more patients, and sometimes and oftentimes we save them money and we actually get them more patients or more visibility or get them ranking well. Like we had one office manager, her name is Jamie Borden Family Dentistry in Plymouth, Indiana. And she came from another company, I won't name them, but essentially when she switched over, we saved her $500 a month, which is about $6,000 a year going to your pocket now, right? Instead of overspending, and she's getting better service, and they're showing up for dentists near me on page one of Google, a lot of different terms, and we're actually updating it, whereas the website was stagnant before. So it's great that we can help people to get more visible and do it all without these false promises or anything like that, just being very supportive and transparent and still getting practices out there, more visibility, more patients, without having them spending an arm and a leg.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen questions in the group, in the community, right? Where I've seen all kinds of different questions. And one of the big ones is we're not getting new patients. So, what are we doing wrong? Is it and how does like DocSites help, right, with marketing?
Great question. So I believe like the new patient problem is really a three-part solution. If you don't have all three parts, it doesn't do well. It's like you need the peanut butter, the jelly, and the bread. All three parts need to be working together. So one part is giving great service and asking for reviews. Most practices do that well, but some people don't. And if you're not doing that well and you don't have different systems to get reviews, it's an uphill battle. The second part is the website is actually really important. People think I just have a website and I got a website and it's okay and I can leave it there. But think about it. When you go on Google and you look, let's say, for a dentist, other than those that have the great reviews on the maps, every single result is what? A website.
Mm, yeah.
Right? So there's something with the website that's showing up. So I think a lot of practices, they just think, well, the website's okay and marketing is here, but they actually work really well together,
Mm,
So if you have a website, like I said, that's not optimized for your city, you could be not doing that well. If you have a website that doesn't have a first impression, you could be losing patients. Think of it like this. You're an office manager. You know what it is. If a patient comes into the practice, right, and the first thing their experience is they smell some weird gunk and they hear a child screaming and they hear a drill, right? And there's cracks in the tile. What's the likelihood that patient's going to say yes to treatment? Probably low.
yeah. Slim.
Right? Same thing with your online presence. I come in, before I make a call, I come in there, I see a website that's outdated, stock photos, doesn't really enroll me on like why you're great. I can't see your team, I can't see your reviews. What's the likelihood that I'm going to actually pick up the phone and say, I want to go there. I want to take my family
Right.
there. Not
Yeah.
that high,
Yeah.
right? So that's an important part of it, the website. And then the last part, so we talked about getting great reviews, doing that on a consistent basis. Two, the website, it's personalized, you're building trust, you're adding those elements. The third part that people that I see don't get it right with the patient flow is nothing's being done on the website or the Google profile to bring more visibility.
Mm,
And think of it like this. It's like any relationship. If you don't tend to it, if you don't give it care and attention, what happens to it? It withers away. Your online presence is the same. So if you're not sure whether anything's being updated or the blogs are being added or the Google is being updated, it might be a good time to reach out to us. We're available. We do a free online assessment. You can go to docsites.com. I'll leave my cell phone here, which you always do. I think it's good every now and then for practices to take a look because usually the practice has good intentions. Usually they have good reviews, but they haven't just reviewed what's going on with their website or marketing. So they have what I call a set it and forget it mentality.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like if a patient comes in and they don't know what's going on in their mouth and they haven't been explained to it, they're not going to improve anything or do better.
Right.
It's sort of similar. Like if no one has yet showed you as a practice owner, as an office manager, hey, here's what we see with your online presence. You're doing this well, and here's where you have room for improvement. You sort of don't know what's the best treatment plan to success.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as an office manager, we're given, typically the daunting task of like finding companies, right? And there's so many companies out there. There's so many options,
Yeah.
right? And so again, it boils down to like time consumption, right? As an office manager, we have a lot of tasks we have to focus on, the pile, the list, it just never ends. So, for us to work with a company that's transparent and actually saying like, this is what the cost is. This is what you're going to get for your dollars. And then we could easily just check back at the end of the month. That's such a time saver right there.
Yeah.
So I like that you guys are very transparent with your pricing. That's something that seems very unique as opposed to some of the other companies that I've worked with in the past 22 years or whatever it's been at this point. I do want to ask you another question,
Sure.
Kayvan. And so, what are some trends or let's say this, what are some common marketing mistakes, that you see dental practices doing?
Great question. First one we talked about, which is the set it and forget it mentality. I'm so busy, I'm not going to pay attention to it. Listen, it happens. I do it. It happens. So like, no blame. Just hey, we can improve. Let's take off the set and forget it mentality and let's be proactive. The second mistake I would say is they expect that the website or marketing company does it all, right? And so the ones who I've seen do well are actually supporting the website marketing company by sending photos, by sending before and afters, by adding video testimonials. These things like that help because, again, it's about being proactive. Another big marketing mistake is not training your staff to convert phone calls to appointments. It's a big one, right? And I get it as a business owner, right? They might be busy. Front desk is collecting insurance and treating patients. Well, if you don't have a system and they haven't been trained on a system, they don't feel empowered to convert that patient to a call. They're going to be on the phone for 30 minutes answering about insurance questions. You just lost another 4 people who called in. There's no system to follow up. And you're wondering, my marketing is not working.
Mm.
And again, I believe, my personal belief is like, how do we empower the team? How do we train the team? And a lot of times it's systems and training that can get everyone to say, hey, we're working. So I would say those are some of the things that if you avoid those mistakes, I think you'll be doing exponentially better in your marketing.
Okay. Well, thanks for the advice, Kayvan. And I do really see your point because, if you're paying a company to produce results and, you're losing them at the front desk, right? And they're not converting into actual patients, then you're kind of throwing marketing dollars away, right?
Yeah.
I mean, marketing dollars on top of paying the staff to be on the phone, and it's just a complete waste of money at the end of the day. Unfortunately, yeah, that's unfortunate, right? So, all right, Kayvan. So let's get into how can some of the community members find out a little bit more besides what we just discussed on DocSites. You guys have a website, I hope.
Yeah. You can go to DocSites.com. This is how you spell it, DocSites.com. You can check out our examples, our pricing. Everything is there. You could submit a contact form. We'll reach out to you. You can also text me directly if you ever want. I'm one of the owners of the company. It's 818-489-9823. Again, that's 818-489-9823. As a thank you for coming from the dental office managers community, we do give you a special offer in case you decide to move forward with us. So whenever you do reach out and you want to be, interested in seeing how we can help you, be sure to mention dental office managers community because you do get a special offer.
Cool. You know what I like, Kayvan? And besides, I like you as a person because we've met personally, face to face. But I like that you give your cell phone number.
I've heard that.
I love it because I'm like an old school kind of guy where it's like I want to be able to reach out to someone, right? I don't want to reach out to AI. I don't want to send a support email, unless I really really have to.
Yes.
But I like that about you that you provide your cell phone number. That's like above customer service.
Yeah, and if you look up DocSites reviews on Google, the number one word that practice owners and managers talk about us is the word responsive. So we're really, really big on that. We're available by phone. We get back to you quick on email, and we make the whole process of switching really, really easy. I had someone come up to me at a dental show and is like, Kayvan, I just got to tell you, switching websites to you guys was just like adding water. She's like, if I knew it was this easy, I would have done it a while ago. So if you're thinking about it, you want to, you're saying maybe your website doesn't represent you well, or you want to get more visibility online, attract more patients, we're always happy to help and have a conversation, really make it easy for you as the practice manager.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for the special offer for members of the community. And, what we'll do is I'm actually going to share your link. I'll share that in the comments of our video. And that way, if any of our community members want to reach out to you, they can text you or, visit the website and check out and learn a little bit more about DocSites. So, Kayvan, thanks again for taking the time out today. Really appreciate you coming on here and sharing DocSites with us.
This was fun. Thanks, Kyle. See you guys soon.
Thank you. Take care.